Hi boys and girls, how are you? It's Mrs. Perugini. So today we're going to continue learning about character traits. Only today we are going to focus on how characters can change. Sometimes there is an event that takes place in the story that causes a character to change. So while I'm reading today, I'm going to read you a story called The Grasshopper and the Ants. In the story, I want you thinking about what traits, character traits, describe the grasshopper, and also think about the character traits that describe the ant. And just to review, remember, character traits are words that best describe a character based on their actions, how they are on the inside. Okay, so look back at this chart that you guys have, all right? Not physical traits. Physical traits are what somebody looks like, okay, what we see on the outside. So here we have brown hair, brown eyes, boots, shorts, blue shirt, okay? Those would be considered physical traits. Character traits or personality traits are what we see on the inside or what is on the inside. So think about what characters' thoughts are, their actions, their feelings, words that they say, what we learn based on what the character says, does, thinks, and feels. So those are character traits. And you have a list that you can always refer back to that's in your Google Classroom about a whole bunch of different traits. Anytime we say a trait that a character has, we want to make sure that we can support it with evidence from the text why they have that trait, okay? So this character is blank because he blank, okay? What did he do or say that makes that character have that specific character trait, okay? So when we're focusing on our character traits today, we are going to see how one of the characters in this story is going to change. So they're going to have some traits in the beginning of the story. Then an event is going to take place that's going to cause the character to change. And then they will have different character traits at the end. So I want you listening for those while I am reading. So this is called The Grasshopper and the Ants. Here we go. Don't mind singing. He's singing here. Oh, the world owes me a living, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la. The grasshopper was singing his song as he jumped through the fields. He almost jumped on top of some ants who were pulling grains of corn up an anthill. Said the grasshopper to the ants, "Why are you working all through the day? A summer day is a time to play." "We can't," said the ants. "Winter will be soon here." The busy little ants did not have time to feel the warm summer sun or to run and jump just for fun. From the beginning of the day till the end, they were busy hauling the corn away. Winter was coming. They had no time to play. All summer, the grasshopper sang and danced his grasshopper dances in the grasses. When he was hungry, he reached out and ate. And the grasshopper sang, "The good book says, the world provides, there's food on every tree. Why should anyone have to work? Not me. Oh, the world owes me a living, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la." With that, he took a big swig of honey from a blue harebell that grew above his head. Then he spit a big wet spit of grasshopper tobacco juice. It nearly landed on a little ant who was dragging a load of cherries to store in the ant house for the winter. Said the grasshopper to the ant, "The other ants can work all day. Why not try the grasshopper's way? Come on, let's sing and dance and play. Oh, the world owes me a living, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la." The little ant was so charmed by the music that he dropped his heavy load and started to dance. Then came the queen of all the ants. And the queen of all the ants frowned on the dancing ant so that he picked up his cherries and went back to the other busy ants. The queen of all the ants spoke sober words to the grasshopper. You'll change your tune when winter comes and the ground is white with snow. But the grasshopper only made a courtly bow. Winter is long way off, he said. Do you dance? Let's go. Oh, the world owes me a living. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. The other ants can work all day. Why not try the grasshopper's way? Come on, let's sing and dance and play. But even as he sang and played on his fiddle, the queen of all the ants hurried away. She, like the other ants, had no time to play. All through the long, lazy summer months, the grasshopper went on singing. Oh, the world owes me a living, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. There was no tomorrow, there was only today, and the sleet and the snow seemed far away. But the little ants worked harder than ever. As long as the sun was in the sky, they went back and forth carrying the foods from the fields into their ant house. Then the winter wind began to blow. It blew the leaves off all the trees. The ants ran into their ant house and closed the door, and you didn't see them in the fields anymore. Every day the winds would blow, and then one day, snow. The grasshopper was freezing. He couldn't find any leaves to eat. All he had was his fiddle and his bow, and he wandered along, lost in the snow. He had nothing to eat and nowhere to go. Then far off he saw one leaf still clinging to a tree. Food, food, cried the hungry grasshopper, and he leaned against the wind and pushed on toward the tree. But just as he got there, the wind blew the last dry leaf away. The grasshopper dropped his fiddle and watched the leaf go. It fluttered away through the white snowflakes. It drifted slowly away. It was gone. And then he came to the house of the busy ants. He could hear them inside having a dance. They had worked hard all summer, and now they could enjoy the winter. The grasshopper was too cold to go on. The wind blew him over, and he lay there where he fell. His long, green, jumping and dancing legs were nearly frozen. Then very slowly he pulled himself through the snow to the house of the ants and knocked. When the ants came to the door, they found him there, half frozen. And 10 of the kind and busy ants came out and carried the poor grasshopper into their house. They gave him hot corn soup, and they hurried about making him warm. Then the queen of all ants came to him, and the grasshopper was afraid, and he begged of her, "Oh, Madam Queen, wisest of ants, please, please give me another chance." The queen of all the ants looked at the poor, thin, frozen grasshopper as he lay shivering there. Then she spoke these words, "With ants, just those who work may stay. So take your fiddle and play." The grasshopper was so happy that his foot began beating out the time in the old way, and he took up his fiddle and sang, "I owe the world a living, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. I've been a fool the whole year long, now I'm singing a different song. You were right, I was wrong, tra-la-la-la-la." Then all the ants began to dance, even the queen of all the ants. And the grasshopper sang, "Now I'm singing a different song. I owe the world a living, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la." Okay. All right. So now I want you thinking of some character traits specifically that describe the grasshopper. Think of some things that he did, how he acted in the story, come up with some traits, and then your evidence to support why he has those traits. Then think about what that event is that happened in the story that caused him to change. And now he has some different character traits at the end of the story. So we'll talk about these later when we see you on our Google Meets, okay? But again, we are always going to just pay attention how sometimes characters can learn a lesson and then their traits can change. All right, see you later, guys.